Well, what do you know? This is a hardware review of the Analogue Super NT. What is the Super NT? Well, the Super NT is a FPGA or Field Programmable Gate Array powered console. Yes, it is a clone console, but instead of using system on a chip like Hyperkin's consoles, most notably the Retron HD and the Super Retron HD, this uses a thing called the aforementioned FPGA, which is from what I hear, is a more better way of doing the SNES games. So this is pretty cool. Well, anyway, let's start. Now that I showed you this nice fancy outside of this box, how about we start unboxing this bad boy? And wow! And also before we get to the NT, I got this thing, and I know what this is. So anyway, let's see what this is. And wow, look at this! This is a box art for a fiction for the cartridge of Super. Actually, by the way, in case you're wondering what is the purpose of this awesome unfolded box, the Analogue Super NT comes with the two games, this Super Turrican Director's Cut and Super Turrican 2. So because this was, I guess, since the Director's Cut never got a physical release, it's only on the software of the Super NT, they still decided to make a cool little box art for it. So this is really cool. This is really cool. This is awesome. That's cool. Anyway, now get to the good stuff. Ta-da! There it is. The Analogue Super NT. I know since I live in South North America, I say, Marcus, why didn't you get the North American Super NT? Well, the heck with that. I already have two Super NTs already, and I thought it would be cool to get the Super Famicom looking version. But anyway, I'm just gonna go like this. Wow, this has some definite heft to it. I know a lot of YouTubers said this was kind of heft, and it's like, yeah, it feels, that's the cartridge flap, the power, the reset, the power light, the SD card slot for updating the firmware, among other things, and the bottom. Yeah, this is really cool. Anyway, yeah, and of course, unlike, I know Analogue has done like NES versions of they've done like the analog versions of the NES, which had a lot more connections. And as you probably seen on other YouTube channels, they probably mentioned that, the Analogue Super NT only has HDMI out. Although I hear Analogue is going to do an adapter for older TVs like the CRTs and stuff, but I don't know when that will be out. But for now, it says HDMI only, and then of course there's the power. I think that's for power. So yeah, but this is really cool. And of course, here is the controller, so you can use your old SNES controllers as well. Anyway, enough of looking at this fun thing. How about we do some gameplay footage and show you what this looks like? Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do some comparisons. What I'm going to do is, this first footage you're seeing was captured using an actual Super Nintendo running through my iScan DVDO VP50. My OSSC had trouble working, but I'm running this footage through the S-Video port, upscaling it to 1080p because the VP50 does it through HDMI. As you can see here, when I was playing this footage, As you can see, it's this is Super Mario 3 running through the Mario, as part of the Mario All Stars pack. But it is, as you can see, I felt it was very laggy. It was very laggy, and I felt when I pushed a button, the button presses were a long time between when he pushed the button and when he actually did the action. And in this playthrough, actually, I think in this playthrough with my S-video cable, because in this first playthrough, because of the lag, I found I did a lot more horrible and a lot more crappy too. Because like my jumps were off, other stuff was off. It just wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. But anyway, we'll switch over to the Analogue Super NT footage now. Okay, before I started playing this game on the NT, I thought I'd just quickly mention some cool options. I don't know if I'm going through them right now, but like you can do like different video options, different audio options. You can choose from different scalers, and you can even do cheat codes. Using Game Genie cheat codes work on this too, which is cool. But anyway, I should be going into the footage here, and wow, what a difference! Like, though I did not notice much lag, I could actually play the game, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, like everything, I was able to hit my jumps and hit everything just great. Heck, I think in the previous comparison using my SNES, it took me like I think I finished that first area as Small Mario, but for this on the NT, because it wasn't so laggy, I was able to finish as Super Powered Raccoon Mario. Yay! Yay! So yeah, I'll just leave this so you can just see some of the footage here. I think I'm going through the 1 too. And heck, I was even able to do my famous what the Super Mario 3 Player's Guide calls the Goomba Stomp technique of getting extra lives. So I didn't spend too much time because I didn't want to take up too much of the footage doing it. But yeah, I got a couple guys and I went on my way. So yay! So that was really cool. But I just like how everything pops, looks great. But anyway, we'll go to the next comparison now. Okay, now this is the S-Video SNES comparison of Super Mario Kart. As you can see, I'm playing as Koopa Troopa, racing along, and again, I felt it was very laggy. A little bit, it was a bit laggy, so I still did quite alright, but I felt it was a little bit harder because because my button presses were a lot later than what the screen was doing, and it was kind of like, ugh, come on. I still won. I still got like first or second. I was playing 2 courses for this playthrough, depending on how long I talk for each playthrough. But I did all right. But but as you can see, this footage looks okay. It looks decent, upscaled to 1080p from S-Video, but it's all right. Ho hum. But anyway, we'll go to the Analogue Super NT footage now. Okay, and wow, again, here's the Analogue Super NT footage, and wow, this looks great! This is like fantastic, and yes, and I still did pretty decent. But I think I still got first and second on these courses. But again, I don't think I'll probably be showing that. But I'll leave this footage play for a little bit just to show you how good it looks, how crisp it looks, how it just looks awesome and stuff. So here's me probably doing things and stuff. But anyway, we'll go on to the next game in the comparison. Okay, well, since at the time I'm filming this, it's October, so I thought I'd do a little Halloween type game again. Although this isn't a review, I already did at the moment of this recording. I already posted a Halloween game review for Power Up. But I figured for this review of the Super NT, I thought I'd sneak in a Halloween type game too. In this case, sorry about that, it's Super Castlevania 4. And again, it looks alright for S-Video through upscaled. It looks alright, but sorry again, but it looks, you know, it's alright. But though, playing through this, I felt again, it felt very laggy, and I couldn't, you know, I could make my jumps, but I felt I had to like time it in advance or something. It just didn't feel right. Like crap, I hope I make this jump. And my button presses were off, and, you know, it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right at all. So anyway, we'll go to the Super NT, Analog Super NT footage now. And alright, look how good Super Castlevania 4 looks on the Super NT. Wow, it looks great. And also, I can time my button presses right, not as much lag. I can do kick some butt, kick some monster butt, get the two upgrades to extend that whip, and so on and so forth. And yeah, it sounds good, sounds great, plays great, awesome as always. Good stuff, good stuff. So I'll just leave the footage run a little bit more here, just so I can admire it as well, because I always like to, of course, I always like to watch or see how good my captured footage looks. But anyway, to not take up too much more of this time, I will, in a minute here or so, I'll switch to, I think will be the final Super NES game of this review. And then I'm actually going to show off 2 Game Boy games, and just to show you what the Super Game Boy games look like running through the Analog Super NT and running through my S-Video Super NES. Okay, for this last SNES game comparison, I wanted to do a fighting game. The funny thing is, the game I wanted to choose that I haven't really shown too much, instead of doing any of the Street Fighter 2 Turbo or Super Street Fighter 2 games, I thought I'd mix it up a bit and show off Street Fighter Alpha 2, which actually got a Super NES port. As you can see, even though it's an SNES port, it looks pretty good. And heck, I'll even say it looks halfway decent, even through the S-Video SNES comparison here. Although, again, I did notice a lot of lag, even though, yeah, there are load times in this game for an SNES cartridge. And by the way, just on another note, I did review this game a long while back on my Power Up show. It's a bit of ways back, so you can totally, after you watch this review of the Analog Super NT, I totally suggest you watch that. So, but anyway, getting back to the present here. It looks decent. Although my button presses, again, I felt were a lot off. It was hard for me. It was a little bit harder to pull off my Hadoukens because I was playing as Rue for this playthrough, for this review. And it was like, come on. It's like, I just felt it was a little off. So anyway, we'll go on to the Analog Super NT part of the game. Okay, here is Street Fighter Alpha 2 running through the Analog Super NT. And of course, it looks great. And even with the little bit of loading times, I was able to pull off most of my moves very well. But although I think I said in my review, during the Ultra combos or the Super combos, it did take me a while. And I think I only was able to pull off one. But I was able to pull off my Hadoukens, my Hurricane Kicks, or the Tatsumaki Senpu Kaioku. I was able to pull them off pretty decently. So as you can see, I'll just leave the footage play a little bit, but not too much longer. But you can see it looks good, it plays good, it's pretty awesome. So anyway, I'll go on to, now what I'm going to do is, now that I've covered most of what an SNES game looks like, I'm going to do 2 Game Boy games that I'm going to show off using the S-Video, my S-Video hooked up SNES, and the Analog Super NT hooked up through the Super Game Boy. And no, I don't have a Super Game Boy 2 yet, but I know that the Super Game Boy 2 runs at official Game Boy speed. But I just wanted to show you what a Game Boy game looks like through the Super NT and the Super NES. So let's move on to that footage. Anyway, first up, I'm glad I tried this is through the my S-Video SNES. This is Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy running through the Super Game Boy on my SNES. Again, I felt this was a little laggy. I didn't do quite as well, but I did, this is just some footage just showing you what it looks like, and I changed the color palette to just a basic black and white. I figured that I didn't mind all the color, just wanted to show you what it looks like and when it's running, and so yeah, this is just, it's not this front a little bit, and again, I did feel the lag was pretty strong. It was hard for me to make, I felt my jumps were off, felt stuff didn't play the way that I wanted it to play. But again, this is some footage, just showing it, a little laggy. But anyway, we'll show you what it looks like on the Super NT now. Okay, now this is same Mega Man 3 running Super Game Boy on the Super NT. And actually, for this playthrough, even though I'm not going to show all of it, I actually made it all the way to Snake Man, because that's the role that I was playing as in both of these playthroughs. Yeah, the lag was almost non-existent on the Super NT. I actually was able to go right through the level and pretty much take them out. So that was really cool. Of course, yeah, I'm using the same, color palette settings as I did on the SNES one, so it's just a plain black and white. But yeah, looks great. It plays well, not much lag. So yeah, it's good stuff. Anyway, let's go on to the next comparison. And last but not least, good old Super Mario again. This time, Super Mario Land 2. 6 golden coins. One of my favorite Game Boy Mario games, if not one of my favorite Mario games. Anyway, this is it running through my S-Video SNES. As you can tell, same color palette as Mega Man 3, plain old black and white. Nothing too frilly, just wanted to show it. And again, I did feel there was a lot of lag as I was playing this footage. It took a long time. I felt like I wasn't again making my jumps like I should. It's like, wow, this jumping feels way off. So yeah, I just felt off, and I was like, why aren't I making these like I should? So I was feeling that. Like, I still was able to complete the level, the two levels that I played through. Probably won't show them both in this footage, but it was like, wow, I should be doing a lot better. I felt like I was really sucking a lot. But anyway, we'll move on to the Analogue Super NT footage now. And finally, here is the Analogue Super NT footage of Super Mario Land 2. And wow, this looks great, as always. Oh, and by the way, thought I didn't know if I mentioned this, for the Analogue Super NT, if you just pop in a Super Game Boy or a Super Game Boy 2 into it, you need to enable sound on it. Because you just pop it in, there won't be any sound coming out of your speakers or whatever. I forgot the option is, I think it's like cartridge audio enable or something like that. I hope I am showing it in this footage if I haven't showed it already. But that's what you do to enable so you can hear the Game Boy audio come out from your stereo system, TV speaker, or whatever. Almost forgot that. But anyways, you can see Mario Land 2 looks great. I know in the SNES part of it, I was playing to the tree zone, 2 levels of the tree zone, and for the NT, for this section, I played through the Mario zone, two levels of the Mario zone. Don't know if I'm showing those two, but I'm showing a little bit. But anyway, it looked good. I felt I could make my jumps better, and it just felt awesome. It felt very nice. And also quickly, I think, and I might have mentioned this already, but Analogue also sells 8-bit 2 controllers that you can buy along with the Super NT. I myself didn't do that, as I have original SNES controllers, but I might have to do that at a future time, so I can play it wirelessly, which would be, so I can play my Analogue Super NT wirelessly, so that'd be really cool. Anyway, but as you can see, it looks pretty awesome, and the NT looks pretty awesome, but anyway, we'll get out of this gameplay footage, and I'll get back to just me, and I'll list me with the Analogue Super NT, and I'll tell you my final thoughts, my verdict on it, if you should get it or not. So let's go to that. Well, my final thoughts is I really like this Analogue Super NT. I've noticed in my gameplay footage, when I was playing my gameplay footage, as I've probably mentioned, like when I was playing it through my regular Super Nintendo on my 4K TV, I've noticed a lot of lag. It was a little laggy compared to the Analogue Super NT. So that's what I do like about it. And even though, yes, it does not have it only has HDMI out, which was put there to cut costs. It's, granted, the Analogue NT, the NES version of this had, all these other connections, but it also cost a lot more. Plus, it had a more metallic, casing. This only had plastic. Basically, my take on this is, if the Super Retron HD and those more budget-minded Super NES clone consoles ain't doing it for you, and you want a more premium package, then by all means, get the Analogue Super NT. I know on this site it's $189.95, I think, but if you factor in the shipping, it's a little bit more. And I know and as I mentioned, you can use your original Super Nintendo controllers on it, but 8BitDo sells, as well as on Amazon too, by the way, as well as the Analogue site, sells controllers you can use for this. And also a quick note, as I was shooting this review, Analogue actually announced a Sega Genesis version of this coming out sometime next year, but that will be for some other time, because I don't have that one yet. But if you're a Super Nintendo fan and you want to pay a little bit more for a really decent product, which lets you play your SNES games with barely any lag, if not any, and a really slick setup and a really cool aesthetic. And also, as I mentioned, there's also two other different shells for this. This is the Super Famicom shell. But anyway, my recommendation scale is I would highly recommend this product, because I like playing, granted I have two CRTs, but I mainly use gaming on my 4K, on my HD 4K TV. So I needed something that would make it look really, really good. So of course my recommendation scale is, I don't usually do this for my games, but I would, if you don't mind paying the extra money, if you don't mind paying the extra coin, instead of paying like $60 for the Super Retron HD as an example, and if you want to pay $189 plus shipping for this is the much better option in my opinion. So if you want to pay the extra coin, this is the way to go. So I would highly recommend. I have my Skakin Bacon seal of approval on the Analogue Super NT. Well, anyway, thank you so much for watching. And hey, and I'll be doing as always, as I like to say, stay tuned for the next episode of Power Up. And also, I'll try to do, I'm glad I'm able to do these hardware reviews as well, to help break up the Power Up reviews, the video game reviews that I do. So yeah, and and if you're new to the channel, I really hope you're liking all this stuff I'm doing. I do this all by myself, so I do what I can. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of Power Up. Happy gaming!